Hi guys, it is Margie from Reclaimed by Ramsey, and today we're going to be talking about something that painters, whether they're novice and it's the first time they've ever painted a piece, or they are well seasoned, one thing that can drive a painter crazy is bleed through. And so we're going to be talking about ways to tackle that, and I have a cure-all for when I'm painting something, especially white, that has bleed through. This piece behind me had a ton of bleed through. I bought it, it was already white. Someone had painted it and probably just got frustrated because of the bleed through. It had several coats of a heavy duty, very shiny paint. And so I'm going to show you how I redid this piece to save it from itself. One thing that happens when you're painting white is two things cause bleed through. One of them would be the person who's painting it's fault, and one of them would not. The thing that's the person's fault is if they just didn't clean it well enough. I know a lot of people say, oh, you don't have to do anything with chalk paint. You can just, get your piece out and paint it. Not true. You do have to at least clean your piece. Any kind of oil or dirt that is on that piece, especially if you're painting white, is going to come through. The other thing, though, is when it's just the tannins in the wood. If you get a piece that, especially like the darker woods, I find they come through, and they come through as little pink spots or little orange spots, and it can just ruin your day. Literally, it can just make you crazy and go, oh my gosh, what do I do now? I spent all this time, I spent all this money, I've gotten it cleaned, I've already put hours into this piece, and now what? Now this is all bleeding through. What can I do? And so lots of people just say, well, just paint another coat. Well, sometimes you can paint 15 coats of white, and guess what? That is still going to bleed through. There are a couple things you can do, and sometimes it'll even bleed through if you use a primer. Even if you use a good primer, sometimes you're going to need, now you probably will be able, 15 coats would probably do it with a primer. But a lot of times, I don't have primer, or sometimes I get a piece of furniture in that I'm going to redo that someone has already painted white, like this piece behind me. Someone had painted it, and they probably got frustrated because when I bought it, I saw that there was a ton of bleed through everywhere. And so I'm going to show you all those places that had bleed through and what I did to rectify it. Now, something you can do is, and I will link all of these products, and I will try to put pictures up here or here to show you. But one thing you can do is, if you're getting bleed through, you can go ahead and get Zinsner shellac, and I get it in the spray can, and I generally paint first and see where my bleed through happens, and then I will hit those areas with several coats of the spray shellac, and that will kind of seal that color in so that you have a surface to paint right over. Now you can get it in, a brush on, and it's probably cheaper that way, and a lot of people just start off with that. They shellac every piece of furniture. I just don't find that, sometimes I'll have a piece that I'll think will have a lot of bleed through and it only has 2 little spots. Spray it, put my second coat of paint on, we're good to go. Like this piece behind me, you get a piece that is just, there's nothing you can do. It's just going to bleed through no matter what. And I have to tell you that I have a product that I use, and no, I don't get paid by this company or anything, but it's literally, it is a miracle in a jar. It will cover every bit of bleed through. Now, you won't be able to keep pristine white. You'll have to go with a more weathered look, but this cabinet behind me had immense amount of bleed through, and when I show you the close-ups, you're just going to be amazed. It is literally a miracle in a jar. And if you guys have used it, it is the Weathered Wood Antiquing Gel from Heirloom Traditions Paint Company. And I will put a link in the description for a $5 off coupon if you want to try some. If you have used this product, please comment below and tell people how great it is, because it really will save you from going out of your mind and out of spending way too much money and too much time on a piece. So with that being said, I'm going to move right into the video. So if you like this kind of content, please give me the thumbs up, do the subscribing, the liking, the sharing, that whole, that whole thing. Let's get on with the video. So here's the piece that I was telling you about. It's a beautiful vintage secretary desk. And in the pictures that I was sent, it absolutely looked beautiful. But as you can see, it has some major bleed through. That yellowish, orangish stuff right there, that is all bleed through. And you can see there are some scuffs. There are some, it's had a storied and well-lived life here. The first thing I'm going to do is use some heavy-duty sandpaper and give it a very good distress. And guys, I apologize if you hear I'm doing the voiceover for this video and there's a thunderstorm outside, so I totally apologize. But I'm going to hit all the edges on this and give it a very thorough sanding. And I'm going to make it uber distressed because I can really get rid of some of that bleed through. Just going to take off the hardware, and I do end up spraying this with some oil rubbed bronze spray paint that I get at Walmart. I will link that below. It's great for stuff like that. And then I'm just literally going back over the drawers with the sandpaper, trying to get as much of the corners and the places where you would see wear and tear, trying to get as much of that sanded down as possible. Now here the lighting is a little bit bad, but you should be able to see all those spots and those dark areas that look almost yellow. That is bleed through. You can see it down here on the base of the foot. See that pink color? That's all bleed through, and you could paint it, 20 times, like I said, and you would still have it. So that's what bleed through looks like. And if you're a seasoned painter, you already know this, but if you're a novice painter, don't get frustrated because, use the steps that I said in the beginning to try to mitigate that. But when you cannot do anything about it or you're pressed for time, I use the weathered wood gel. I always add a little bit of water to mine, and then I just use a flat bristled brush and I just go as a wood grain, straight up and down, straight up and down. And this stuff is just amazing. It's going to cover all of the those pink marks are going to now be gray. Now once you put this on, you're going to wipe it back off, so you're still going to get, you can get still a very light white. Now I left this piece a little bit darker, but you're literally going to paint it on with a brush and then you're going to wipe it off with a damp rag, and you can take off as much of this product as you want, but it will still have covered the bleed through, which is wonderful. So you can go in a circular motion if you want to, or you can go straight up and down. Seriously, guys, it's thundering here really badly. Anyway, you can go straight up and down. You can go back over it. Sometimes I even spritz the piece itself, depending on the look. If I want it to be more rustic and wood look, I just pull straight down. You can see those were the areas that had all of that bleed through. And now look at it. Now it just looks aged and weathered, and I mean, it's just beautiful. It gives such a nice patina to any piece. Guys, I'm just in love with this stuff. It is just absolutely fabulous. So guys, what did you think? Did you learn anything today? I hope that I've maybe helped a few of you out there with what to do when you have bleed through, some ways that you can fix it. And I hope that on your next project, you will try some of the Heirloom Traditions weathered wood antiquing gel. They have some other ones too. They have like a white and an oil rub bronze and a brown. And I like them. They're just not my go-to because I like to keep a much lighter palette. So anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed the video, and I hope that we see you next time. Bye-bye.